Hello and welcome back. We are continuing progress on our Darby steel, and in our last video I was working on the weapon, actually weapons. I did not film this, but I did the same treatment with the lead belcher to the handle of uh, the sword. But so now as that's drying, I'm going to go back to my figure that I've given some time, and now I'm pulling out the catachan flesh, and I'm going to use this as a dry brush treatment over the utility belt that I was working on before, as well as this one leg that has the brown on the armor. So I'm going to get some brown on my brush, and I'm going to start pulling it off so that I can dry brush. And got the figure, and here we go. And here I am slightly approaching this at a 45-degree angle from bristle to surface, at least at first. And I might come back through. Actually, I'm going to just do it now. I'm going to go completely perpendicular here. But sometimes I like coming at that, maybe it's a cooking term. That's where I've heard it from a biased angle, or radical bias, where you're coming at it from a diagonal. It creates a different effect with the eye and how light hits it, and I kind of like that, because it's not just completely uniform. And when you think about like a utility belt and the motion by which you would be getting wear, it's going to be at an angle, because the figure, your Darby here, would be reaching, and he's going to be doing that at an angle, not at maybe a perfect 90 or 180 degrees. So that's my reasoning as to why I go with that angle or that bias. So you'll see me here. I'm mixing it up. I'm going the opposite direction, and I'm getting that paint on there. And I went a little heavy on the front on that side, so I'll make sure I go a little heavy over there. And the reason for that is I want to tie this in kind of in a triangular fashion. So just want to be kind of intentional with the overall aesthetic. And now, because this is a darker brown, I'm going to be real intentional about making sure that I get some of these areas that would be recessed. So I'm going to get right in there. And again, because we're dry brushing, we don't have to be super meticulously accurate. If we accidentally get some paint on a surface, that we don't want it to be, and because I'm painting the butt right now, if I were to get it there, I could rub it off with my finger or a Q-tip. I know that there are painters who will keep a set of Q-tips handy dandy right by them, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now I'm just hitting the undersides of these real quick as I go along on the top side, and I'll bend that figure. And now you can kind of see why in those first two videos where I talked about getting familiar with the figure and articulating it, knowing how it moves, so that you're just comfortable. It just feels more natural in the painting process to move that figure, as compared to, oh, this is, while I'm painting, now this is the first time that I've really started to manipulate and move this figure, and I would rather do that without paint on my brush and be comfortable with how that figure is going to move, so that when I do have paint, I'm like, okay, doesn't break my stride, and I'm really happy. So we went with that lighter, now we went with that darker. I can actually see that these tones starting to take shape, and I will do nothing with this color that I'm working with currently up here, but instead I'm going to go down here on this leg, pull out, And now I just want really nice broad strokes. And again, as I said in one of my other videos with this figure, I'm going to try and retain some of these details that came from the factory. With it's almost like an orange or a burnt pumpkin kind of color. So I really want to make sure that when I'm dry brushing, and the sound that you're hearing is just the ferrule hitting the other leg here, but I really want to be intentional about not hitting those colors and just getting some paint on here, so that and actually as I'm looking, this Catachan flesh is matching really nicely with the factory paint. So this is pure luck, folks. I mean, maybe subconsciously, when it comes to just like picking colors that I want to use, getting lucky with something that's so close to give me that level of dynamic depth, so that it's not like drastic. And I will narrate here and say that on the back side of this armor or these greaves, I'm going to be a bit heavier with the dry brushing instead of sparse. Why is that? Well, I'm also thinking into the practical wear and tear of the armor. What's going to get more contact with environment or enemy or explosions or debris or any of that? It's going to be the front. It's going to be the front. The front's going to see more contact. So the back is going to be a little bit more less worn. So that's what I've done, and I am really super happy with that level of depth and detail there, giving it a more realistic look. So we are well on our way, folks. Thank you.